Ronald Chapman now. He is a federal defense attorney. Mr. Chapman, thanks for being with us. Your reaction to the judge today putting this deal on hold?
Defendants don't have such a strange day in court. Usually when a deal is made, it's wrapped up tight with a bow on it, easy for the judge to unwrap, and this was anything but. I think the judge was diligent in asking the right questions in order to ensure she does her most essential job. And that is to make sure that both parties are in agreement on exactly what the deal is and exactly what the deal isn't. And with a few questions, things started to quickly fall apart because of the bizarre nature of the agreement that they had in front of them.
There seems to be two scenarios shaping up. I'm curious to get your opinion on which one holds up. Hunter Biden is getting a sweetheart deal because his father is the president of the United States. Hunter Biden is getting a terrible deal because his father is the president of the United States.
Well, I'm not sure which it is, but we had a development in court today that will quickly give us the answer. As you may recall, the Department of Justice was squarely asked if they were still investigating Hunter Biden, and the answer was that they are. And they may also be investigating related to lobbying charges. Now, if I'm a federal defendant, I am going to want to wrap up a deal globally, meaning if I'm going to go in court and I'm going to have a deal, I want to make sure that all criminal conduct is put forward in that deal. And it appears that it's not, and it appears that it might have been news to Hunter Biden that he's still being investigated. It's very possible that the latter example you gave is true, that Hunter Biden may still be facing investigations by the federal government, namely because of Republican pressure and namely because of piercing into this inquiry by Congress. So I would say Hunter Biden's legal troubles aren't going to be over anytime soon, and that may be simply because he is the son of the president of the United States.
Mr. Chapman, the former president says that he is the target of a weaponized Justice Department. On its face, Hunter Biden has been investigated by that very same Justice Department for 5 full years. Could he make the same argument?
Well, I don't think that he can. And what we need to remember when we hear allegations like this is that the government isn't one single entity. As you may recall, the origin of the Hunter Biden case came when Joe Biden did not replace the U.S. attorney there in Delaware and instead allowed to keep a Trump-appointed United States attorney in there for the purpose of investigation. So we really are looking at two separate Justice Departments. One that is the larger United States Justice Department run by the Attorney General, but then a subset that was created in Delaware specifically for the purpose of completing the investigation against Hunter Biden. Now, we see these two Justice Departments operating differently, and I'm aware that there are allegations that Weiss was prevented from completing his job, but those really haven't had much evidentiary support. And so I think that people who criticize the justice system here need to understand that the proper checks and balances were put in place to complete this investigation.
Today's development, of course, reigniting Republican concerns about the deal. They say Hunter Biden got a slap on the wrist. I want you to listen to Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri.
It's very telling that the judge intervened here and said basically, no, I'm not going to approve some sweeping blanket deal. I mean, that tells you that the court has serious concerns about other potential charges here and also the scope of the deal, which seemed outrageous from the beginning. So let's see what happens. This may change again, right, in the next hour 5 times. But this, I think, signals that there still very much is potential for prosecution going forward.
The Republicans on Capitol Hill say that the Biden family is a crime family. Is there anything unfolding inside that courthouse in Delaware that would indicate the president did something wrong?
No, I don't think so. And with respect to the last clip, I have to say that seems to be a lot of spin here. The judge was doing what she's required to do to make sure that the deal is understood, and it was not. That's why it fell through. With respect to allegations of a larger Biden crime family, I will say that there are currently House investigations, and there's currently a Delaware investigation to determine if Hunter Biden and his father were engaged in any shady business deals. And outside of a WhatsApp message sent by Hunter Biden, I haven't seen much evidence of that being the case. However, I think as this investigation plays out against Hunter Biden, if there is evidence that the president is involved, then they should face justice just as Donald Trump is facing justice for his alleged criminal activity.
A federal judge, by the way, we had on in our last hour saying that she believed the judge acted appropriately as well. The judge, by the way, saying that it is possible all terms of the deal could be adopted, but she wants both sides to submit more information on their arguments for her to study. So what happens next?
Well, what happens next is both parties are going to get together and work on a deal that they can agree on. And I will say there's probably going to be a few practice sessions of this plea hearing to make sure that it goes off without a hitch. At least that's what I'd be doing if I was Hunter Biden's lawyers, to make sure that everything is understood. Then there's going to be another date set. This deal will go back before the judge. It's really important to understand that this judge didn't say she wouldn't accept the deal as is. She wanted to make sure that the parties were clear on the terms. Whether or not this is a slap on the wrist isn't much of a concern of the judge. She's just trying to make sure that the deal is clear and completely understood.
Mr. Chapman, 20 seconds left. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, yeah, unfortunately I have. I think once or twice in my career I've had a plea agreement that wasn't completely understood between the prosecution and the defense. I would say that it's very rare, and it's also very rare in such a high stakes hearing. We expected these parties to be professional and understand the agreement, and that's not what happened in court.
Federal defense attorney Ronald Chapman. Mr. Chapman, as always, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And a reminder, you can find deeper dives on all these stories and much, much more online